Extreme Masters World Championships live from Hanover, Germany at CeBIT. My name is Patriot Time, and I'm going to be joined by Papa Smith for this game between the currently undefeated Anexis up against Meet Your Makers sitting at 1-1. Papa, Anexis, man, I don't think anybody would have thought this, kind of looking at the teams that were in this group, but they're currently, I think, the only undefeated team in this group.
That's correct, and it was just announced on the stream that they'll be commandeering our Anexis versus CJ Frost match that was scheduled for straight after this, and that's just a sign of just how well Anexis is. They need to get them onto the live stream. They weren't scheduled to be on the main stream, and that just shows you that even the people putting the tournament together didn't expect Anexis to come out as strongly as they have here. And Meet Your Makers, they played very, very well to beat EG. Struggled against SK Gaming last game.
Yeah, really did struggle. I think that's a good way to put it. And I guess, can MYM be the team that stops, the currently undefeated team? I mean, Anexis, nobody thought, as you kind of noted based on the scheduling, that Anexis were going to be a team that was the only undefeated team in Group B, but that's the reality right now. We're either going to send them off to the main stage after this for their game against CJ Enters Frost, either undefeated or with a bit of a tarnish there at 2-1 here. Meet Your Makers perfectly capable of taking out Anexis here. This is going to be an absolutely thrilling match here between, it's Poland versus Poland, which is I think why our chat is currently being livened up by all the lovely Polish people hanging out. I assume it's livelihood anyway, because I can't read Polish.
Yeah, it's not quite the Brazilian samba influence we had yesterday, but it's lovely to have all the Poles here. And this is a different dynamic to some of the other games we've been commenting on Patriot Time, because two teams here who didn't make it to LCS. MYM, of course, very fancy, but failed to get over the line against, I believe, Dragonborns.
That's correct.
They fell to. But both Polish teams here, both not in the LCS, so, they definitely don't have the large vocabulary of VODs to get to, but you have to think these guys scream each other on a semi-regular basis. It's complete conjecture, but both not in the LCS, both from the same country. There has to be some ties there.
Yeah, so we'll have to find out. The bans for this one, Nearly Elise and Kale there on the Anexis side, and Lux, Xinjiao, and Shen there from Meet Your Makers, so respect band over there to Salava, who is going to be playing Diana in this game, it looks like. We've got Rumble, Vi, and Diana. The first few picks there from Anexis, and Twisted Fate.
And we've got Globals.
Yep, Twisted Fate Nocturne there for MYM. The same combo I believe they used to defeat EG on the main stage.
That's
and
correct.
Misfortune and Renekton in there as well.
And yeah, they've gotten the duo here. The Twisted Fate ban was enough to discourage the Nocturne pick last game, but they're returning to their roots here with the double Globals and a strong laner like Renekton up top. I really like this coming out from MYM.
Yeah, especially if they go for the Black Cleaver on MF, they're going to have lots and lots of Armor Shred coming out there, and they don't even have a last pick yet, as we're going to have Anexis rounding out with Caitlyn and maybe Blitzcrank as their support pick. Nope, maybe not. Gonna go with Taric instead. And we have seen this a lot from Anexis actually. Caitlyn Taric, very strong lane, very punishing, really good at punishing mistakes from the opponent, and just generally very irritating to play against. There are so many stuns, there's so much control they've got, and Caitlyn, as always, as an AD carry, is just a terror to have to lane against.
And now we have the Vi versus Twisted Fate matchup that I think that was the first competitive Vi game I'd seen, just exploded Vi on its own. It was Vi Kha'Zix against a Twisted Fate. And Twisted Fate just had no answer. Couldn't even hug his own turret, because he would just get turret dived every time the Vi ultimate was off cooldown. And it's pretty much the same flavor here with Vi Diana. I mean, Diana, once both those champions hit 6, have a long-range gap closes. Diana has the ability to refresh the cooldown on her ultimate. So much follow-up damage. I fear for Sharu in the mid lane here.
Yeah, and they're actually thinking about Zyra last pick here on Meet Your Makers. So, we saw this actually in the last time we saw MYM versus SK. Nif support Zyra completely demolished MYM. It just hit every single grasping roots there, and Nif had a lot to say about how the lane went and then how the rest of the game went as well. He was just catching people left and right with that Zyra. She's dropped off a little bit because the missile speed on her E was changed, but back better than ever it seems at the Intel Extreme Masters here, and it's going to be Libic on that Zyra there as the support to go along with Misfortune.
And Zyra just has so much disengage. If you see a jungle Rammus on the enemy team, and you still need to pick up your support, Zyra is such a good pick because you have so much disruption. You have the grasping roots. You have the ability to put down plants that, of course, block motion spells. You have the ultimate, a massive AoE disengage spell. And that's what they'll use against Vi and Diana here. Now, of course, Vi and Diana both have dashes, and Vi's ultimate can't be interrupted, but once they get that initial damage down, they can either separate the team with the Zyra CC or just really prevent Diana from doing further damage, ensure that she's CC'd right after the initial dash.
Yeah, it's a good point, but I think a lot of Anexis' strength here is going to come maybe earlier on here. I mean, it's weird that Vi is so good at ganking once she hits 6, but so is Nocturne and Twisted Fate, and there's going to be a big scramble, I think, to see whose level 6 kind of pressure really comes up trumps in the early section of the laning phase, because I mean, Vi, as I said, a great ganker even before 6, but once she gets Assault and Battery, she just completely demolishes people, especially mid laners. But, I mean, MYM, they use this to defeat EG already. That's a lot of pressure at level 6 for Nocturne and Twisted Fate. We've seen it all the time from World Leader. It was one of their trademarks for a long time, and MYM, they seem to be using it just fine here at the Intel Extreme Masters.
And it feels like that mid game is going to be a tale of where the pressure comes out. If the globals are the equalizer here, then MYM will look wonderful transitioning into late game. But if the Vi ganks, can be profited on in mid lane, especially if they can anchor Twisted Fate to the mid lane long enough for Vi to hit 6, then maybe that will be the reason why Anexis can transition to late game. So I think mid game here, which is usually when we start to see the global value rise up and come to its real massive advantage, that's probably going to be where we're going to have to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think the mid lane is going to be pretty important in terms of, can Diana actually start bullying Twisted Fate? Because if Solava can roam as well, then they can get some really, really nice ganks off with either, in any of the lanes actually. There's heaps of setup CC in either top or bottom, and of course if Vi's there as well, could really expound on that. So Diana's lane, I think, has to, the mid lane in general, I think, has to go well for both teams here if they want to really make a lot of this mid game pressure, or this early game pressure, try and make some difference here. They're interestingly both camping the same bit of brush, so maybe they have been practicing a lot together.
It isn't a balanced kind of protect the invade comp. It isn't an aggressive comp. You're right. They're both waiting for something to give.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what gives first. Diana just scouting out in mid, seeing what's happening. Looks like Rumble's going to go after the top lane by recalling. So it's going to be pretty normal lanes here. We're going to have the 2 solos 1v1, and then the duo lanes 2v2 in the bottom lane, as we've kind of come to expect. Originally that was there's the only thing that happened in League of Legends, and of course now there's lane swaps aplenty. So it looks like we are going to have, I guess, the natural setting of these lanes. As
very interesting to see Twisted Fate pick up the red pot here. If that eventual Vi gank came out, it would be very useful, but that's probably not, the pressure of that Vi gank is only really going to amp at level 6. Still a strong ganker at 4. At 3, if she gets all her skills, but 6 is where it ramps up. So such an early red pot against a Diana whose melee, her wave clear is quite poor until she gets extra points, and she can't close the gap until 6. Very, very defensive, I'd have to say. Pick up from Shara.
Yeah, I think Overpower wants to gank top lane as well, because he actually started on the red side. If he rushes straight off to blue, which he can't actually do because he used Smite already, that's quite interesting.
I think he could do Smite if he wanted to.
Or Smiteless, I guess. I suppose if you smited red, yeah, he'd have enough health. Actually, for whatever reason, St. Vicious does that all the time. He just loves to use his smite on the first camp. That was something that people were noticing at the North American LCS. But, yeah, he's going straight for blue, so it looks like he does want to pressure top here. Kubon, as we've come to expect now, with the red bot on Renekton, really wants to try and all-in Rumble early on here. And Zaxa still at level 1, about to hit 2, though. It's a creep away here. But Vi could really try and help Rumble early on in this lane, because he does need a bit of levels to get going, really, against Renekton, who is just an exceptional bully from level 2 onwards.
Tarek's taking quite a lot of damage down bot, but probably should be pretty inconsequential to the lane, not even bothering to pop his potions. And yeah, the Renekton all-in at level 2 didn't happen. We didn't see the instant red pop and the trading there, but right now the lane's all pretty quiet.
Yeah, Vi just farming, Nocturne farming as well. In fact, both junglers going for a pretty speedy level 4 here. In fact, Nocturne does have a level in each skill. I imagine Vi does as well. Yes. So, they could have gone for something there, but instead just deciding to farm here. Lanes, yeah, as you said, pretty stable at the moment. Caitlyn pushing into the turret early, trying to deny Misfortune a little bit of CS. Is slightly ahead here, down the bottom for Anexis. And mid lane, kind of happening as you'd expect here for Diana early on. Solava's actually getting pushed in by Twisted Fate in these early levels. And looks like Teleport's coming down the bottom. Twisted Fate going to try and make something happen. Caitlyn trying to get out of the way there. A good dazzle there into Zyra by Erotic. But Shara's going to stun him up. There's the flash forward. Flash out from Tarek, though. Very nice moves. But I think Tarek uses the Imbue on himself. Could still be in trouble, though. Maybe going to go down here. Sharu walks into a trap there. I think looking to maybe kill Tarek off the red card splash damage. And really nicely played there from Anexis, getting out of that gank in bottom.
And the little interesting thing was he did not pop his red pot there. the red pot damage, I mean, attack damage, the Pega card does have attack damage scaling, so given how low health Tarek went there, you'd have to think they would have picked up the kill if he had popped it.
Yeah, presumably, but honestly, Anexis played that getaway perfectly. Erotic stunned the right people at the right time, he flashed away at the right time, and he just managed to have enough health with imbue there. I mean, I think he must have chugged the potion, but I guess he didn't want to chug his biscuit, because you can no longer use them at the same time. Actually, I don't think you ever could.
No, you can.
Oh, you can? Oh, I'm kind of surprised. I guess he calculated the potion or something. He's like, no, it's going to be cool, guys, don't worry. This will keep me alive, but as I said, played really well there. Stunning Zara doesn't seem all that intuitive, but was definitely the right move there in that situation. Just does not want to get CC'd any further after this TF stun. So really well played there from Tarek, and Anexis will get away there from that one. Still 0-0 here after about 5 minutes.
Still 2 red pots in the inventory. I mean, we haven't seen a 5-minute game when no red pots have been activated. They usually are all well in use by now, so I guess when Vi does hit 6 and she has been power farming, there will be red pots aplenty to try and counter that burst damage that can come down with a Vi gank.
Yeah, I'd love to ask Kubon why he didn't want to all-in Rumble here, because it's really, really powerful, and as Rumble gets levels, I mean, he's level 5 right now. Level 6 is Rumble's kind of prime time. I mean, Renekton gets a big power jump as well, don't get me wrong, but he's fighting Rumble, and he's doing decently on the trades, but it's going to get harder for him, I guess, and I don't quite know why he didn't take the opportunity to present it to him, especially given that he did have the red pot. I mean, maybe he was afraid of some jungle pressure. I did suggest that Vi was looking to come up top maybe and try and relieve any pressure that was to be expected here, but instead we're going to have Nocturne actually look for a bit of a camp. Not quite 6 is Makata, so he's not going to get in quite yet, but Zaxxas here if he walks out. Oh, that's too far.
Now going for a very cute dragon once again.
Good stun there actually in the top lane here. Zaxxas is going to go down there as Nocturne picks it up. And that was really nicely played. Makata waited very patiently, and Kubon in there with the flash stun with Ruthless Predator, and they had enough damage there to take him out. Dragon actually is overpowered, tanking this pretty hard, but they will get it there. And very cute, as you noted there.
Earliest dragon of the day, 6 minute 23 it goes down.
Yeah, and every time I see Via, they always seem to try it seems like. They love just, especially on this side of the map, on the blue side, they love to just Vault Breaker over the back of the ridge. They didn't even throw down the pink ward, interestingly enough. They're just like, yeah, we don't need it. It'll be fine. We have enough.
You just pop a potion, you buy the, in this case, the Madra's Razor, and if the procs go your way, an early dragon is wonderful global gold to your team.
Yeah, thankfully, the bottom lane here for MYM not really present there, and so Anexis were able to come over and help out, and Overpower managed to secure the dragon with a couple of his teammates. So as you said, earliest dragon of the day goes down there at just under 6.5 minutes, and I mean, there's actually no wards there. I'm assuming that's why they didn't throw down a pink, because they have quite a bit of ward coverage there. Would have seen any wards that went down. Likely noted the timers as well, if some had gone down earlier, so there's a chance that MYM don't even know that dragon went down. I mean, it's unlikely, but it's possible.
Yeah, and I imagine Zara will come back with a pink here. Maybe the pink will go on the dragon, and she'll be like, hey, what happened here?
There was a plant near the ward as well, actually, just after they did it, so I think they know, but I mean, a win there for Anexis early on. And Vi here approaching level 6 at this point, picked up red buff again.
Looks like he's going for a blue buff invasion here.
I like it. I really like it, actually. I mean, 1v1 versus Nocturne is always kind of an interesting thing, but not that Overpower knows this, but Nocturne's currently sitting in the top lane. So this would be quite a nice deal here. He's going to Vault Breaker over.
She will hit level 6 from it. Maybe not if she says experience, though.
But she's going to give it to Diana, which is a nice little donation. The top lane, Nocturne is going to go in here onto Zaxxas. Equalizer coming down, but Zaxxas, they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, and again, that power combo there as Makata gets a second kill on Nocturne. In fact, the only 2 kills in the game have gone to Makata. And looks like
And ironically, he still has his red buff.
Yeah, Kubon's like, I don't need to use it. He's actually going to proxy now behind the turret. And that turret's probably going to go down at this point. Down the bottom, I think we have Telly coming in. Yeah, Sharu back down the bottom again. Does stun off onto Erotic. There's the Grasping Roots. Finally hits this time. And Makla there with the bullet time will clean it up. So really nice plays here from MYM. You know, they were down that one dragon that Anexis managed to sneak in, but 3-0 early on is making beautiful use of all the presence they have. All that global pressure is really coming up nicely here.
Even though they got the blue buff steal here, actually no, the blue buff did go to Overpower. That's why they're holding on to blue for Slava.
Yeah, well, I mean, having blue for both these champions is totally fine, but I guess they wanted to give the first one to Diana.
I had thought that Diana had taken the first one, so I was like, is she getting a refresh already?
Nope. Maybe missed that one there.
I did.
They both have it now. No, I meant like as in they missed giving it to Diana that time. That'll be my guess anyway. But hey, they both have it now, and they'll be happy to steal that away. It looks like TF just going back to mid, actually. wants to prevent any more further pushing that Diana's going to do. I guess I have a question for you. What item do you think Salava's going to be building first?
This is a good question. Probably Azonia's Hourglass.
Okay, I like that actually. I like that a lot.
I mean, the style choice recently has been Nashor's Tooth,
yeah.
but Zhonya's gives Diana so much. You can either get it earlier or later, and even the Seeker's Arm Guard pickup here will be just wonderful to deal with the triple AD threat from MYM.
Yeah, there is a lot of AD, especially given the one that's Nocturne is getting the kills. He actually might be building a Phage here with Longsword plus Ruby Crystal. I mean, it could be a lot of different things, but Nocturne might want to be building a Phage here. He's hanging down the bottom lane now. Doesn't quite have his ultimate back up. He's actually got a little way off for that one.
Overpower sitting in a ward here very awkwardly.
Yeah, which is going to make this counter gank from MYM that much easier. In fact, if Vi leaves, then they might just go straight in anyway. In fact, Libic's
Darkness not up for about 30 seconds here, though.
No paranoia, not yet. But Libic, you just know he's looking for a grasping reach, and Overpower's still on top of that ward. They're waiting very patiently here at MYM. I mean, without Nocturne's ultimate, they can't really can't bait Taric into dazzling someone and then go in. But it's funny, both junglers actually leave at the same time.
And Salava gone for an even more aggressive option here. The early haunting guys, I guess, for burst potential onto Twisted Fate with that Vi combo that we were speculating about.
Yeah, well, for me, I think one of two things wanted to happen here in the mid lane for Salava. It was either get Nashor's and start pushing, so that when Twisted Fate does roam, he's losing his tower or losing farm, or just go burst and try and kill him. I think there's the two options you kind of have as Diana, and looks like he's going for the former there, and he's going to try and kill Twisted Fate here in lane. Shara's not making it easy though, that's for sure. Looks like down the bottom they finally go in. Makla taking a bit of ace and the whole damage there. Almost goes down, but we'll stay safe for now.
Yeah, he's just choosing the turret hug, against the Vi. It's a very common choice. And Overpower not really been able to have any lane presence here, whereas Makata's 2-0 already.
Yeah, he's the shining star. Plenty of kills. And Vi has not used her ultimate actually. Has had it for a little while. And coming back down the bottom, this time there are no wards that Overpower can walk into, but Makata's back down here as well. His ultimate is back up. Oh, that's not good news for Arkel, but maybe it's a bait here. Libic gonna get initiated on, and they're actually going in for Makla there as the Assault and Battery goes off. The Pilt of a Peacemaker comes out as well, but Twisted Fate coming around the side. They're going after Caitlyn, who pops the barrier. Now Nocturne's down here. Flash Dustbringer in there after getting in with his ultimate, and Sharu kiting very nicely, picks up Erotic. There's the bullet time coming out. Overpower, very low hit. Caitlyn got to get out of trouble as well. Makata is now going to do the tower diving, almost getting the kill there, and does pick it up as Vault Breaker comes over. Kublon's actually down here as well. And now Salava's cleaning up, so Makla goes down, but he's got a long way to run here. And Diana gonna get stunned up by Twisted Fate, activates the Moonfall, but a kill there for Twisted Fate in the end. And that was a lot of MYM members just randomly appeared down there. And Saxus is like, oh, guys, what happened? Did I miss anything? And turns out, yeah, he missed a couple of kills there. It's 2 or maybe, I think 2 for 1 overall for MYM, possibly even 3 for 1. In fact, it is 3
Group
for
B
1.
continues to surprise us here as in the Battle of Poland so far. MYM have really looked switched on this game, and Anexis playing almost reactionary League of Legends, you could tell from Zaxxas getting down bottom so late.
Yeah, well, as we kind of said in the early game when we were looking at the draft, a lot of this game is going to come down to which team uses their pressure better in the mid game. And right now it's MYM. I mean, Shara's used his teleport absolutely beautifully. Twice now he's come bot. Converted once into a kill the second time, and the first time was just some decent pressure, even though we wasn't able to get the kill. And, Nocturne Twisted Fate is enough global pressure on its own, but if you have a teleport in as well for your Twisted Fate, it's just even worse. And MYM are just using the tools that they've picked here better. I mean, Overpower has not altered, or has now altered once since being level 6, which is just not what Vi wants to be doing. She really wants to be ganking if she can.
Now, Jaru's gone for a very early home guard here to amplify the pressure, and he does have someone to teleport up.
Equalizer going out there as well. Salava, though, going pretty deep, and they're getting a lot of people very low. Gets the kill there, does Rumble out onto Nocturne, and this is going quite well here for Anexis. They pick up the Dragon as well. Salava still over the top trying to chase out Makla and Libic has to get well and truly out of the way. Kubon doesn't quite know where to run either. Shari coming back down as well. That's a 2 for 1 there as Erotic went down. And Anexis pick up the Dragon as well, so a nice trade for them straight back into this game. And looks like they won't be able to get any other kills, unfortunately. It almost feels like Libic has to be a bit careful, but looks like everybody is backed up here. In fact, Shari might even get this tower down here. Finally popped his red pot. And he's going to go down.
And Diana did a very nice job of assassinating that, justify the double early flat magic penetration pickups from her. But again, she picks up the arm guard here. She looks like she'll probably transition to the arm guard and the Zonias, but I don't have a window into her mind.
Just a fake coming in. Saliva's like, yeah, activate Power Cascade. Actually walks into the last one, does show, so the shield pops again. Got to be a bit careful there. He's taking a bit of burst damage, but here come the rest of MYM. Kubon going in there, Renekton deep there as he activates Dominus. And Zaxxas gets out. Sorry, Zaxxas just comes in there for a bit of reinforcement, and everybody gets off Saliva. So Diana protected there effectively as Anexis come in to save their teammate. But this game is opening up now. 7 for 3 by MYM and 2 turrets to 0 right now as Arkel's trying to even it up by taking out the bottom outer turret. But MYM are getting more and more active on the map, and it was bad enough before with the double globals, or I guess 2.5 if you want to count the teleport as well. But now that the map itself's opening up as well, the towers are going down, MYM are really going to try and put a foothold on this game. And here we go.
Awkwardly, Zaxxas just walks out of darkness range there, so no engage was coming to the middle.
Yep, Mikado just blew it a little early. And he'll have to wait
and with
quite
no
a while.
CDR, that's a long cooldown to waste.
Yeah, it is. Wow, 170, 180 even. Jeez. I didn't realize they changed that so much. I thought it was... I guess at level 1 still, it's still on a fairly long cooldown. But 3 minutes is a long time for the ultimate to be back up. Not trying to go back to his jungle here. It is a Phage, by the way, that he got. I guess he's going... Phage... Wriggles?
I think Phage is probably a snowball item choice here. I mean, Nocturne, he has that fear tether, it takes time, and then doesn't offer much CC out of that. And picking up a Phage, if you have the gold for it, it is more expensive now at 1465 gold. Phage has always been a wonderful item.
Yeah, I mean, I totally don't mind Mallet on Nocturne, which is maybe what he's going for. I actually thought Trinity Force initially, when I saw that he was building a Phage, but now I'm not too sure as he's got an extra longsword in there, which I assume is going to be for Wriggles. But hey, I mean, as you said, Mikado is doing pretty well here for his team. He's 3-1-2 right now. Actually, only just behind TF in score, and he's at 3-0-2 at the moment. There's Home Guard Sharu, probably looking for an ultimate here. In fact, he's building... Is that... What item is that?
Well, he has a Fiendish Codex completed. There's a lot of potential ways that could go. It could be a Deathfire Grasp here. I'm not 100% sure.
Because DFG, Nashor's... It doesn't build into Twin Shadows. That's Cage's lucky pick, right?
That's correct.
Oh man, Overpower. There's the Assault and Battery coming in. This is the couple we were talking about. Sharu there locked down. And there's the burst damage out from Diana. And Overpower finally manages to find a gank in there.
The aggressive lane ward gave them the trigger of which way Twisted Fate was going to run.
Oh, Moonfall in there as Overpower gets out. Rumble in here as well. Kubon has to be a little bit careful here as Renekton. But it's going to be okay. Down the bottom, actually, we've got lots of trades coming in. Arkel doing very nicely here. Macklin's not going to be able to get out of this one. Erotic, though, pretty low. Great moves there from Libic. But I think he's going to die to the pills of a Peacemaker. And Tarek lives on less than 50 health. And finally, things turning around here for Anexis. They looked like they were in a little bit of a hole before, but really picking it up here against MYM. We've got a much more even game than as first appeared.
Yeah, I think the global gold has kept them in it here. They were definitely struggling in laning phase, but 3 quick answering kills here, and suddenly we're all tied up.
Yeah, double Bloodthirst is up for both AD carries. Berserker Greaves currently the advantage there for Misfortune, but Tintin, no matter enough, they're down the bottom lane as they got a double kill there very cleanly. Not even the bleedingly red Tarek would go down. And Anexis 6-7 right now in kills. They're still behind in gold by just under 1,000. Love to get a few more objectives, but you're right, those dragons that they've gotten really help them stay in this game, and they've just found opportunities and evened up the kill score here. So what was looking like it might start to run away here for MYM is turning into a much more even game, and now I'm not sure what goes on, because as I said, a lot of mid-game pressure here for both teams. If the teams are even, then I guess it's just, I don't know, who plays around objectives better. You know, the usual thing that wins you games of League of Legends, because there's a lot of possibilities for both these teams with very mobile, very assassin-y style champions.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing, because I mean, Renekton and Nocturne are dive buddies here. No real dive champions. I mean, the dive champions, that's the top and jungler. In this case, it's the mid lane and jungle. You don't usually associate the AP mid as a dive champion, but Diana very much so. Usually go with a slightly tankier build, as we see the Abyssal coming out here. Probably going to be a Zhonya's as well, and the hyperscaling on her shield makes her such a tanky champion. It scales with AP, but because her shield is like effective HP, it scales again with armor and resists. So you are so deceptively tanky once you finish an armor and a magic resist item.
Yeah, even for an AP champion, because she's melee, she actually has higher base stats as well as a result, just to kind of make up for that. So, yes, she is definitely deceptively tanky here. And Solava's going for a lot of magic penetration, actually. This is kind of, I guess, just the classic magic pen build at this point. You have, what, 70 with this build, if you have enough, depending on the runes, I suppose?
It's 50 and then runes, so if we press C when we are looking at Diana, she is sitting at 38, and that doesn't include, so it's 58 with 8%, because it doesn't include the Abyssal, yeah.
Which is a lot. That's a lot of true damage to the squishy targets. They're going to go in here, though. Kubon trying to dive in there with Dominus on Makata there in the back as Zaxxas goes off. Solava, though, assassinates Twisted Fate. Livic very low as well. Mackler in trouble as he activates his ultimate, and Kubon now in trouble trying to pick up Overpower, but there's the blast shield out. Oh, does get the kill, and there's a second actually onto Erotic. And the Anexis are trying to chase them down. Makata in the back as well. Did manage to get, I think, a couple of kills here towards the back end as well as Rumble did go down as well. Looks like Kubon is going to get chased out here by Diana as the Lunar Rush comes in there for Solava to pick up the Crocodile. But wow, what a crazy trade. 3 for 3 actually with Dragon still up. Looks like Anexis are going to trade slightly up here as they pick up the Dragon. Diana will be more than happy to tank this one up.
The important thing to note here, 3 for 3, but the carries are the ones alive for Anexis here.
Yeah, I mean, poor Misfortune
picking up the kills.
Yeah, poor Misfortune just got stomped. I don't know what Overpower was doing either, because Vi still has her ultimate.
She might have died instantly to the burst or the damage in the team fight.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to go back and watch it, but I would assume so, because you would at least want to try and use your ultimate as Vi if you were going to die. Because as you said, you are untargetable during it. And looks like Solava now just trying to protect off mid lane. 3 members of MYM here, Overpower in here as well. In fact, still has ultimate, remember, so could try and turn something around. Just hit the R button. I mean, Diana's probably
cooldown for Diana's ulti, of course, very, very short.
Yeah, it's, I think, 20 seconds?
15 at present.
Okay. And of course, with more CDR, it'll get better. Plus, of course, you get the refresh if they're affected with Moonlight, which is the buff only applied by your Crescent Strike, your Q, which is kind of a unique thing. But I guess
it was retaining parity between the Q and R. Now I believe the Q has 5 more range than R that brought Diana back into competitive play. They had the ranges offset. Originally her R range was too long, and it was too short. Now it's at parity, and so you feel really good if you hit that max range Q.
Yeah. And I mean, Diana in general just also had a couple of bug fixes to go through. I think people still complain about her shield, her power cascade not quite working correctly in certain instances, but certainly Diana's, had a lot of love when she came out. People kind of figured out how to play her, and she was probably a little too good, and now after some quality of life changes in terms of bug fixes and just some general normalizing, I suppose, so she's now balanced. Still very powerful, but I think finally in a good place.
She just offers so much as a mid laner because, obviously originally envisioned for the jungle, it turned out her mid lane was her best role. She's an AP assassin bruiser because, of course, she has that shield that she hyperscales with wave clear. We can look at right now, even though she hasn't been stacking AP, no need to large rod item, 300 damage already on the Q ability on a very, very short cooldown. It's 4.62 second cooldown. It scales very well with AP, has a much lower base now, but to have wave clear, ability to be a bruiser, and also to dive and burst, I mean, all those are really key words that you consider when you're choosing your mid champions.
Yeah, looks like Nocturne going to dive in the mid now. Arkel getting completely caught out by the AoE there as Bullet Time picks up that kill. Erotic now trying to get out of there. Great equalizer though by Zaxxas. Catches absolutely everybody there as Overpower goes on top of Libby to pick him up. Nocturne going down in there as well. Solava still wants to dive in as Kubon is still in the mix there trying to get some damage done. But Zaxxas now following up, looking for some Electro Harpoons. The Q just missing there, unfortunately, for Renekton. The Electro Harpoons will hit. Will they dive in here? Looks like they might just going to. Power Cascade there gives him the shield. Zaxxas now in with a Flame Spitter, but everybody else from MYM going to get away. And a 3 for 2 trade there, pretty much due to Zaxxas' incredible Rumble ult there. But they still lost their mid tower, unfortunately. Although it looks like it'll be a trade.
It was a fantastic time to engage with... Oh, here we go.
I'm actually surprised at MYM. Oh, this is why Shari around the side, very sneaky. And Solava's thinking about trying to kill this TF here. If it was 2v2, that would have been a horrible mistake for MYM, but Anexis saw that Shari was coming in and wisely back off there.
It was Solava know the fight. Instantly burst down Caitlyn. Should have been a happily won fight, but wonderful, wonderful equalizer. Bought time for Solava to come in and clean up there and make it much more even.
Yeah, and as I said, a 3 for 2 trade. They did not lose their mid turret in the end. Some good defense there from Shari with the teleport. Almost converted into a kill or two. But Anexis, of course, wisely backing off from that situation. And again, we still have a very even game here. A slight lead currently up for MYM. They're up 2,000 gold here. And again, the 3 outer turrets here probably making the biggest difference. Anexis just struggling to move over the map at the moment. And that's the thing, when you don't have outer turrets down, you're restricted in the areas you can go on the map safely. Because, of course, the turrets are there, they're spotting you. They give vision, and, you know, they do a bit of damage. But at this point, it's obviously not nearly as much. So tower diving is much more of a thing. But Anexis do need a bit more map control here.
And the vision advantage, the one thing it does promote is safe farming. Misfortune here, farming at the turret, not a care in the world, has vision on the enemy team in the middle. Very happy to keep growing the CS lead, and it grows the gold lead. You know, 2.53k, it's very small, but it'll only grow if they can't get any turrets down.
Yeah, Overpower going on to Shara, equalizer down as well. So much damage coming out. We'll pick up TF there as Overpower flashes out of the way. Solava there assassinating Zara. They want to go in. Mackler in the back there, getting chased down now by Rumble as Diana gets out. Activated ultimate there from Nocturne does kill Diana and getting the shutdown in as well. Kubon getting dazzled up though. Piltover Peacemaker coming out as well. The Hexdrinker procs off, but Ace in the hole will finish him off, and Makata going to be able to get out, I think, of this one with Nocturne. The rest of Anexis thinking about maybe going looking, but Nocturne's already back to the base. But
and you noted the phage, but it was a frozen mallet rush for Nocturne here. He is able to stick to his target. He just picked up 500 gold spree, but so many resources are used to finally pick up Solava. Easily 1-5 for Anexis.
Yeah, Diana actually almost lived. If her shield had procced again, she might have lived and been able to fight Nocturne if someone else had come to help her. But still, 4 for 2 there. Even though Nocturne picked up the killing spree, not to mention they got the mid tower there as they pushed started, and the tier 2 in mid as well. So that was the thing they needed in this game to make sure they stayed in. It was a bit of map control, and they actually got themselves up to about even, actually, pretty much dead even in gold between these two. I mean, Frozen Mount's pretty cool, but what about Black Cleaver here? That's a very aggressive Nocturne build.
Look, it synergizes very well with the AD damage. They have triple AD auto attackers here, so I like the Black Cleaver pickup. But you're right. I mean, not the most tanky Nocturne. How much magic resist are you sitting at? He's just at 66 magic resist, so he's going to take immense damage from the Rumble ult, and particularly the Andrew's Torment here.
Yeah, erotic, they're getting caught out. In a wrong place, wrong time as Mackler picks up that kill. Actually, Nocturne's taking true damage from Diana as well, because of all that magic pen. In fact, maybe even a little bit extra, because reduction applies last
first, so no, it doesn't work like that.
Never mind then. At least it applies in the right order now. That was very confusing.
So Caitlyn goes down bottom to farm up here. Of course, Turret dying affords a free objective. I believe Turret died with Oracles too, which is a little bit frustrating if you're an Anexis fan.
Yeah, a bit more painful there for Erotic. Normally happy to die for his team, but probably wanted to keep his Oracles. Blue buff there. We'll go over to Diana. As Zara...
She's going to go back, pick up her Zhonya's here.
And as you said, just an item that does so much for Diana. Should make any playmaking that Solava wants to do even easier here. And that...
I mean, she's sitting at, 140 armor, 109 magic resist. As we discussed, the shield scales with those resists. She is really, really tanky.
Yeah, it does plenty of damage to boot. And of course, if anything does go wrong, then you've got the active of the Zhonya's, that stasis. To just... I mean, we've seen so many different APs benefit from Zhonya's. It's part of the reason it's become such a popular item on almost any AP. I mean, TF here eventually is getting there. I don't know. Again, I'm still not sure what this Phoenix Codex was for. But we've got kind of a bit of a Lich Bane, and we've got some of the Zhonya's here with the Seeker's Armguard, and kind of a mix of other items here for Sharu. So I don't know what he wants to finish first, but TF has got many, many items here. A wealth of items, apparently, to choose from.
I mean, an early cooldown reduction pickup on TF, along with his stack deck. I mean, right now he's sitting at 40% CDR just because he's picked up that Codex, so he can't feel too bad. The moment he picks up Blue, he's going to be from 23 to 40% CDR and be happy.
Yeah, that's true. I'm curious. I'm honestly just curious to know, because I think him not finishing a major item yet could be a problem here. Although up in the top lane, he's going to go in onto Zaxxas. Makata not in range, and a quick scrap shield away there for Rumble.
That's twice that Makata's used the ultimate and not been able to complete, which, again, we harp on about the cooldown here. He does have 10% CDR now, but 2 minutes now, Darkness is down.
Yeah, so no more ultimate there. I mean, Twist of Fate used his as well, and that is a slightly shorter cooldown. And Sharu does have teleport, but, I mean, if MYM, they had a control advantage distinctly over the map with those 3 outer turrets to 0, and they haven't been able to use their semi-global pressure here with Twist of Fate or Nocturne. I mean, to Anexis' credit, they're farming pretty safely, but something has to give here for one of these teams, because this game is just way too even for them to really keep farming. And I don't know what a late game team fight between these two teams looks like. In fact, I guess if I'm not even going to try, I'm just going to ask you what you think. But there's so much mid-game power for both these teams. I feel like they both really want to get in, but with the game so even, I guess they don't want to mess up either.
I mean, Twisted Fate has the double teleport, which I think in this game will kind of relegate him to split push duty, just because diving in with Twisted Fate, Renekton, and Nocturne, you're going to eat so much damage from Rumble and facilitate the Diana getting into your backline that it's very, very risky here. You don't really want to dive onto a Rumble who's going to have Leandri's Torment and Ryle's fixed up very, very shortly.
Oracle's here for Vi. Once they clear out the Baron pit, Rumble up in the top lane could set up a really nice bait here, actually. They're hanging out in the tri-bush just baiting. I think MYM have to be a little bit suspicious, and they correctly go the long way around. In fact, they're not even going to defend the outer turret in top. Decided it. You know what, we can give this
3 outer turrets to 0. That advantage.
It's gone.
I mean, they have an inner turret as well, so
it's gone.
That's the only thing. They do have the 1 outer turret down below, but it's at negligible health.
Yes, questionable even. Very questionable.
Questionable health.
Looks like TF's going to make his way back here. There's a bit of a siege starting now for Anexis. I mean, they seem to love their Caitlyn pick. They get a lot of value as, the Queen of Siege here, doing quite a chunk of damage to that tier 2 turret. Overpowered, no, going in, they want Makler, they go straight in there with Assault and Battery, but a great ult there from Zyra, splits Anexis' team up here in the back lines. They will pick up Makler there as Erotic gets that one, and actually still alive here as Kublon's dived in. Zyra got killed up in there as well, and Anexis here looking pretty strong there, but a couple of counter kills come out. Diana goes down, Taric goes down, but Caitlyn's still in a perfect position to follow up here, and Sharu cannot go into that at this point here. Caitlyn does eventually fall, actually, as Twisted Fate manages to pick it up. So maybe Sharu can make something happen here.
Catches are there.
Ooh, that has to sting. And that does mean the push from Anexis is over. They need their AD carry to really push down.
Ironically, Salava forgot that he had Zhonya's there. He took an extra turret hit trying to help Caitlyn get out of turret range. Forgot that he had Zhonya's. If he popped Zhonya's there, he would have lived.
Yeah, and kind of as you expected, the Zyra pick getting a lot of value there against Vi. I mean, Overpower went straight in there trying to pick up Makler, and they did a pretty good job, but that ult completely split Anexis, and if that hadn't happened, that could have been an even harder team fight for Anexis to win, because everyone else really wanted to go in there, and they managed to slice the team in half there.
Well, the ironic thing is that because there's that targeting reticule and travel time for Vi's ultimate, that's the perfect time for Zyra just to put down her AoE, and by the time, the suppression effect is ended, they're going to get knocked up. So depending on how many dive buddies there are, depending on whether Misfortune's positioning is the key thing in a fight, it's very predictable and very easy for Livic here to disengage.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, I think that's why they actually lost pick Zyra. It has a lot to do with the fact that both Diana and Vi, as you mentioned, are just very, very good at diving people. This Oracle's, though, is proving a nuisance right now for Michi Makers. They can't quite get any vision. Overpower's just denying. It's actually a good thing Vi lived, despite diving into the enemy team there. Because, of course, managed to keep that Oracles for a couple more minutes. As the red buff there goes over to Caitlyn.
I mean, Vi at this point, just a tank. Only base damage available at the moment, so she's just looking for that initiation, and they're wanting the Diana and Rumble damage to take down Misfortune instantly.
And I'm going to be a bit careful here. Slightly split up, but they'll regroup. Anexis looking for a fight here, wanting to pick up Dragon. Zaxxas with a nice couple of Electro Harpoons. They're going to take a bit of damage. Ares Grasping Roots goes down. Mikado, though, going in. Overpower going straight in there as the Dancing Blows procs off. But a beautiful Zyra ult plus bullet time. Salava, though, going straight into the back to activate zone as the rest of the team catches up. They go through the Zyra ult. Makler gets jumped on there by Overpower. And now the damage is still coming out from Anexis. 2 quick kills there for them. A third now as Zyra goes down. And what a beautifully played fight there from Anexis. I mean, MYM, they lined up the AoE perfectly, but the rest of Anexis held back. Salava dived in, Zhonya's through the rest of the AoE, and then Anexis were able to follow up after that. Absolutely stellar play.
Extra time you fight against Rumble in a confined jungle area at your peril. The Equalizer once again being the defining thing in a team fight, validating the pick ban status, top pick, top ban status of Rumble at this tournament. Doing massive, massive work there, Zaxxas.
Anexis actually on Baron right now. They've got to be a little bit careful because, well, I was going to say they're kind of low, but turns out the Baron damage I've got is plenty good there. And they're able to clean that up, even without Erotic tanking it. He actually just walked all the way around, twiddling his thumbs. Was like, oh, you guys doing Baron? I'm sorry. That's okay, though, because Anexis have now got themselves Baron. And from a game that at one point looked lost here, or looked, not lost exactly, but it was going bad for Anexis at one point. MYM looked in really tight form to be able to maybe roll over Anexis here, but Anexis did not take it lying down, and they are now looking in a nice position here. I mean, the gold advantage is not massive, but with Baron buff, you have to think they're going to try and carve out more advantage for themselves.
It just feels like Saru put so much into the ability to show up globally. He has the summon and teleport, he has the home guard boots, he has Destiny, of course. It just feels like after those early exchanges, he did not get any value from those summoners or even the ultimate. He just hasn't been able to play make, and that started to push things into Anexis' advantage.
Yeah, looks like actually Vi could get jumped on there. There's the flash, gold card, sorry, yellow card. Locket there being popped by Overpower, still going to die though, unfortunately, as the wild cards go through. And looks like Salava's just going to back out here. Erotic will walk out of the way. And that's one Baron buff down off Anexis. They're going to have to actually roll to their tier 2 turret mid now to protect it. So
probably going to have to use the Equalizer to wave clear here.
Ultimate activated. In fact, Tarek here maybe going to get jumped on. Teleport being used by Charlotte as well, but a flash out there from Erotic. But the home guard boot's absolutely massive here for TF. He's going to be able to catch up, but Makla's getting chased down now as well. The Piltover Peacemaker comes to a net onto Kubon, and Tarek, though I think he's going to go down. Yes, does to Sharu as Makata dives under the turret. But still here, MYM have to be careful. Their AD carry is one ultimate, Diana ultimate away from dying here.
A lot of resources killed to take down the Tarek. The most they'll secure off this is Dragon. So I don't know if using long cooldowns and a summoner spell was really worth it to take down a Tarek there.
Okay, I think I might be lost. I figured out what the first few longswords were for. I figured out what the Brutalizer was for in Makata. He's got Wriggles.
He's a Hex Drinker.
Oh, of course. Well, there we go. See, this is why I have you here.
But you're right. I mean, 4 longsword items coming out from Nocturne here. He's definitely about the offense, not just the tankiness.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting build. But he's got a decent amount of health. He'll have probably over 3,000 when he pops that red pot. He's pretty close to that. He's got actually a big chunk of AD. And again, once he pops the red pot, he'll have even more. Sitting at 237. I mean, it's not... I guess it's not a regular Nocturne build, but I get it. I like it. It's just aggressive. It's different. Definitely more of a bruiser build.
There, but doesn't translate into anything. I believe Rumble's going to go back here and pick up a Void stuff. I think that will be the crowning jewel of their next Team 5.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the arm guard there. He may want to pick up his Zonies eventually, but I think you're right. Void stuff would be big game here for Rumble. We're not going to get a chance to shop quite yet. Anexis pressuring this mid inhibitor turret. Rest of MYM just kind of...
Diana very strong at pushing turrets, yeah, and goes down very fast.
Yeah. Kind of surprisingly strong as well.
That's the reason why the Nationals Tooth is being unpopular, is that she becomes a split push fiend with a Nationals Tooth.
Yeah. Of course, part of that trick there is her passive Moonsilver Blade actually applies on structures. The proc does anyway. So, yeah, she's able to do quite a bit of damage to structures in fairly short order, especially with a bit of attack speed. Looks like blue buff. They're not available, unfortunately, for Anexis. MYM, I believe, have already collected it. And there we are, Sharu's got it. Who now has quite a bit of AP at 463, including a blue elixir.
We've kind of slept on the fact here that we've talked a lot about double AoE, double magic damage comps, and Bulwark. It's actually the AoE magic comp here that has the Bulwark. It's Vi that has the Bulwark. No one building an Aegis. And that's the result of what's happened with Nocturne going so damage heavy. No Runic Bulwark available so far for Meet Your Makers. Only Libic building one slowly on support.
Yeah, and support Bulwarks take quite a long time unless you're really, really fed.
Yeah, she could have eschewed the Haunting guys, but it's just lovely to have that extra bit of damage given the base damage of your plants.
Yeah, and Azara, I mean, I guess you are going to be near carry for the most part, but you tend to, I mean, it's a tank item, right? You tend to want it on your tankier guy, especially because your jungler usually gets the item with better timing than you do. Oh man, I'm getting so trolled by the timer again. Sorry, I fixed it. I mean, it's funny that there's just magic resist mostly here on the bruises for MYM instead of the Bulwark, but you have to think that giving everybody a nice bit of magic resist to be better than just having both Nocturne and Renekton in this case, who have Hex Drinker and
well, I mean, at this point,
Audius.
Whenever the Abyssal Aura is around enemies, Rumble and Diana are going to be doing true damage to their opponents.
And despite the shortening of that aura size, Diana is almost always going to be in the middle of the enemy team near the squishy targets. So,
just the max range Qs and Rs that will not be affected by Abyssal.
Yeah. But I mean, you're in the middle of the team, Abyssal's going off, Rumble ult's down. It's a lot of damage. And we've seen it before, and Anexis are probably going to try and turn that trick a couple more times here and just win out some of these team fights. But MYM, they've got team fight here still. It's just, I don't know. Can you stop?
Well, the game's by no means a foregone conclusion. The only person that Anexis has that's adept at sieging here
oh
is
man, Salava just going so deep on Asharu. There's the equalizer on the top as well. Does manage to activate the zoners at the last second, gets through bullet time, but Kubel there does pick up Salava at the end. Anexis though still going in. Overpower goes in there. Makata now going in onto Zaxxas as Caitlyn still auto-attacking people. That red buff so deadly as there's the triple. There's the quadra actually for Caitlyn, who just cleaned up after Diana went in.
A suicide dive for Salava there, but what they got out of it, more than worth it.
Yeah, Arkel, they tried to Nanikalban over that wall, I think, but I don't think you can go through that one. And looks like Anexis, they're going to go undefeated here. Not interested in taking out any other structures. They're going to go for this these last few turrets. And I wonder if the Pentakill is still available here. It might be. Arkel could get it delayed here, but I don't think it might be too late. Yeah, I think it is. They made it a little bit longer, but a delayed Pentakill, a glorified Penta there for Arkel at the end, and a well-deserved one as well.
And the next match, which will now be on the mainstream, is going to tell a story of pastry time.